Ever wondered why your days feel longer in May than in June? The secret is in the variance. Welcome to the module where numbers reveal the hidden pattern of time. Whether you are crunching data for work, studying for an exam, or just satisfying your curiosity about the fluctuation of daylight, understanding variance is your key to unlocking a world of statistical insights. Join me as we dive into the heart of data analysis, and I'll show you how to harness the power of variance to make sense of the world around us. Let's decode the numbers and discover the rhythm of your days, statistically speaking.
Variance essentially answers the question, how do we quantify the spread of data? So let's say that this is length of the day captured on, well, in this case, just the Earth. And we see that it can be as low as 8 hours to as high as nearly 14 hours. Now, the average, as we see, is something between 10 and 11. But here we are not concerned with the average. Here we are concerned with something called variance, which essentially is the extent to which the data can spread. So if it has a higher spread, we say that it has a high variance. If it is concentrated very close to the mean, then we say that it has low variance. And this is how you calculate it. Remember that variance is always calculated relative to the mean. So essentially, first what we have to do is subtract the mean from all the values in the data, square them up, add them, and take their average. That's essentially the variance of the data.
If you've made it this far in the video, give us a like, a share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, tell us what you want to learn next in the comments, and then wait. Or skip the wait and become a data scientist in just 12 months with the Executive PG program in Data Science from IIIT Bangalore, powered by Upgrad in collaboration with experts from Meta, Myntra, and LinkedIn. Over 20,000 working professionals from over 65 batches have already done this course. Now, back to the video.
As an example of how different datasets can create different variances, here is a dataset which was the length of the day in the months of May, June, and July captured over the last 3 years. We see that June is to the extreme right, maybe because this is the season when summer changes over to the rains or monsoon. And May is mostly summer, so it has a very high, so it's relatively to the left of the other two. And July is a lot of monsoon, so the average length of day is higher than that for May. And we see that both those months have a higher variation than June. So essentially what we can conclude from this is that the length of the day in June doesn't change very much, but it changes a lot in May and in July. Finally, we have another proxy for the variance, which is called the standard deviation. It is simply the square root of the variance. It is also used to detect outliers in your data. For example, imagine that this black line is the mean of this particular data set, and if we calculate the variance of this data set, take its square root, then we can get a value for the standard deviation. Now let's say that we plot a blue line which is one standard deviation to the right of the mean. Essentially, we are just adding the standard deviation to the mean and plotting a vertical blue line here. And similarly, we are subtracting the standard deviation from the mean and plotting a blue line here. Now, if we just do that, but with twice the value of the standard deviation, we get these green lines. Why this is important is that in the standard Gaussian or the normal distribution, we say that if a value is more than 2 standard deviations away from the mean, then those values are likely to be outliers. Or in other words, 96% of the data falls between the mean and 2 standard deviations on either side of the mean. So we see that mean, variance, and standard deviation, these are also called the first 3 statistical moments, are useful in capturing a lot of interesting characteristics about your data.
As we wrap up this journey through the ebbs and flows of data, remember that variance is not just a number, it's a narrative of diversity and spread in the information that surrounds us. From the length of daylight to the pulse of our own projects, recognizing the reach of each data point from the mean has empowered you with a sharper analytical lens. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and carry this knowledge forward. For more insights and revelations in data, stay tuned to our series. Until next time, keep your calculations close and your data closer. Happy analyzing.